It's Atlanta's only hip-hop station, Hot 107.9 and home for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Yours truly, BHighATL here, rocking out with you, man. Stepping in the building, I got the CEO of Radar, VP of Epic A&R, Ray Daniels on deck. What's good with it, boss?
What's good, what's good, what's good? Happy to be here. Atlanta's own, should I say, College Park's own, from Old National Gavi Road.
Already. Now tell me a little bit about Radar. How did you crank that up, and where did it come from, and what all do you all do?
Radar is a company, and you know, it used to be called Radar Management, but we dropped the management because actually I didn't even want to start a company. I just wanted to be in the music industry so bad that I was willing to do whatever it took. And my mentor at the time, this guy named Angeletti, who was the mad rapper, he called me, and I was having an artist signed, and he called me. He was like, "Man, you need to start a company." And I was like, "Man, I don't want to start no company, man. I don't care about that. I just wanna get in." And he was like, "Start a company. Call it something cool like Radar." Like, I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
So it was amazing to me that 10 years later, because I started it in really started in the beginning of 2005, but I got my first check. I got my first check in 2004, December 24th, 2004. I remember the day because it changed my life. December 24th, 2004, I got my first check. But I didn't start the company until January 05 because I never had a bank account. So I went to the bank with a check for $37,000 with my first check my first time ever starting, you know.
Now, how does somebody from the South Side, Gavi Road, with no bank account, figure out how to crank up this business and get to the level of VP at Epic?
For me, I guess it was simple, man. Like, you know, my family background, my mother always basically told me, like when I told my mom I wanted to be in the music business, my mother said, "Why? What are you gonna do? You can't rap, you can't sing, you aren't good at anything." You know, and it wasn't like she was trying to knock me. I was working at Delta at the time, and I was telling her how I was thinking about quitting my job at Delta to go be in the music industry. And she was like, "What are you gonna do? You can't rap, you can't sing." And that stuck with me. So I was like, if I can't rap and I can't sing, I gotta do everything else.
That's right.
So I'll run and get coffee, I'll run to the store, I'll do it, I'll stay at the studio, and I never complained because I knew that I really had no right to be here because I had no God-given talent to be here. So how I got here, you know, I always listen. It's crazy because there's a lot of people that I started with that never made it. And out of everybody, I was the only one that made it this far. That's because I always knew I had no right to make it. I knew that I had no chance to make it. I knew that I had rights to nothing. So I just did my best to do whatever I had to do. So that's kind of where it started, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I got in the music business, you know. And I just wanted to do something in my life, you know. I grew up, I went to high school with Ludacris. I remember watching him interning at the radio station. They used to make fun of him when he used to catch the bus, the Hot 107, Hot 97 at the time.
97.5.
And then, you know, I watched Ludacris do what he did, and then, you know, I just wanted to do it, man, and I did it, you know. And it's shocking that I'm here 10 years later, and I still don't feel like I've made it. I still don't feel like I've done anything. I still don't feel like I'm anybody. It's weird because when I walk in the room now, people are like, "Oh, man, that's Ray," and I'm like, I remember walking in the room and I had one goal, just to make sure everybody remembered my face and then remember my name. That was my only goal. I just want y'all to remember my face because if you start seeing somebody enough, they become a friend. Simply, it's like, yo, you must do something if I see you in the same place that I'm at, or you must be good at what you do if you're in the same place that I'm at. And then they start remembering my name. And now it's weird because L.A. Reid knows my name. He calls me like, "Ray, what we doing?" It's just weird to me.
What artists have you worked with and nurtured and developed up on the Radar? And as
well, the first people I would say as Radar was kind of my first deal I ever did was this kid named Noah. He had this record called "To Cater to You." It was a remix of Destiny's Child's "Cater to You," and that was my first deal I ever did. And then I started managing Rock City, and you know, it was crazy. Like I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I started managing them because I was managing artists, and then the artist thing started getting frustrating for them, and then they was writing songs, so I started hustling writing songs, and next thing you know, we've been writing, and I say we because I'm in the studio for every session, and I'm kind of A&R on every record. That's even how I started doing A&R. They would play records, they would write records, and I said, "You could do this better, the hook could be better," and then it's just something that I just naturally developed, man, so I just ended up. And then when I started managing them, then we wrote for Jennifer Hudson. We did If It Isn't Love for Jennifer Hudson. We did When I Grow Up for the Pussycat Dolls. We did Pour It Up for Rihanna. We did We Can't Stop for Miley Cyrus. We did Kisses Down Low for Kelly Rowland. So when you go around people that create music, you naturally have to know how to do music. And as I'm speaking about what happened with Rock City, the guy walks in the room. So I got Teron from Rock City just walked in here. But you know, that's how we started, man. It was literally, we just never knew it was ours. We always knew it was somebody else's, and we was always appreciative of anything we get.
Teron,
Hey.
tell me about your relationship with Ray and how y'all came together.
Oh man, my relationship with Ray, he's not just only my manager, or I'm Rock City's manager, me and my brother. He's like my best friend, big brother, you know what I'm saying? We talk every day about the business, about personal stuff, just to, you know, his motto, and we all live by this, is to play like you're 20 points behind in the game, and that's what we're doing. The funny part is, the first day I met him in my life, you know, he was introduced to me by another friend of ours named Michael, and Michael was like, yo, this is a guy from the islands that I've been telling you about, and he's talented. And he's like, oh yeah, he said, your music whack, bro.
That was 10 years ago, by the way.
Oh yeah. I said, what? But at that time, I was in a transitional period in my life, and I was feeling like, yo man, I can't be as good as people say I am. Everybody says I'm good, but I'm not making no money doing it. If I was as good as they said, I'll be able to pay some bills with this music stuff.
Yeah.
For real. And when he said I was whack, I just was like, I want to hang with him, because he's gonna tell me what's wrong with me. I don't want. You don't have to tell me how good I look. I own the mirror. I could point out all the positive qualities about myself. You know what I'm saying? I need to know where I'm going wrong. And he was that person. And then introduce him to my brother. And then we started work. And everybody told us not to work together. And we just, I guess we were stubborn, and being stubborn is the best thing that we all could have did.
and we all had this, like, it's crazy that Teron is here, because I met Teron before I even started Radar. I've been on Teron for about 11 years now. And when Teron and I met, you know, I just knew he was going to be rich. And I think that's the best advice I can give somebody. Work with somebody that you know going to make it with or without you. Yeah. And I remember Teron and I clicked. The first day I met him, I was broke. He was broke. And I couldn't afford, I was his driver, because he was a writer that this guy was managing that I was interning for. And he was like, yo, your job is just to take people around. But he was so cheap that he would give me $5 and say, take him around the city. And I'm like, bruh, and get you something to eat. So I was like, man, how the hell am I supposed to do all that with $5? So the first day I met Teron, I took him to a studio, had to take him home. And then he was like, yo, man, like, I see you tomorrow. And I said, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it tomorrow, because I don't have enough money to get to you. And he's like, you can crash on my couch. And the first day I met him, I spent the night at his house and slept on he had a daughter on the way. And he basically was like, it's a bed in there that we got for her. You can make that bed for you. And I slept on the bed. But it's humble, man. Like, it's crazy that people even acknowledge us, because to us, we're still the same dudes that literally got on by asking people for 5 minutes. That was my game. Like, I would hit everybody in the city who knew my face, and I might have got their contact, and I would always have to, hey, Jazzy, this is Ray Daniels. I manage Rock City now. Can you just give me 5 minutes? I won't waste your time. And I literally knew in that 5 minutes what to do. And we knew, and, you know, to this day, I live by that. We meet with Clive David.
What was the point when you knew that it was going down? That you knew that you would never be going back to where you came from?
I ain't got to that point yet.
Get out of here.
Nah, we were just talking about that last night at the airport.
Yeah, we were just at the airport.
I've seen people with houses 3 times the size of my house now that are literally out of money. And
they had hit records.
So like, I'm like a coach. That's what Ray is. If anybody work with me, I'm not a manager. I'm a coach. And if you watch any kind of sports, what the one thing that the coach does is the coach never makes, the team could win by 30 points, and the coach still gonna say, we won by 30, but we could have did that better.
That's right.
That's the coach mentality. It's never good enough. And, you know, it's people that be in the room with Teron and say, this guy is amazing. He's like the best songwriter I've ever seen in my life. And I still pull him to the side, or, yo, man, you could have did that better. Or you could do this better. Or, Teron, I know you want to do this. And that's just me as a coach. It's like, I never want them to be satisfied. And our goal, this is what we live by. You play the game like you're down 20 points. When you play like you're down 20 points, you don't make mistakes.
That's right.
Every possession counts, meaning every chance counts. Every moment counts. And you live by that moment. Rather than playing like you're up 20 points. So it's like, oh, I can afford to take a couple plays off. Exactly. So, like you just said, like, I swear I wake up every morning afraid to lose where I'm at right now. And that fear controls me. And that fear moves me. And that fear doesn't allow me to make mistakes, or to allow myself to dwell in the mistakes I made, or make the same mistake twice. Like, it's a fear of being like, dog, like, I remember I was trying to intern at this radio station. Now I'm here.
Woo.
You know, and I remember I was just trying to get L.A. Reid's attention, and now I know him. Or Jimmy Iovine's attention, and now I know him. You know, all the heads of the companies know my name, and I'm still like afraid because that don't mean nothing. Because now I need to show why we deserve to be here, and that's the goal.
Now, when it comes to artists,
Uh-huh.
what is it that you look for in an artist before you begin working with them?
An artist, I just want somebody that believes in themselves. Well, I say it's three things that an artist has to have. First thing is they have to have talent. That's the first thing. And they have to be coachable. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is they have to be willing to do anything it takes. Like, we overwork. Teron overworks. Teron, when we did Port Up for Rihanna, Teron wrote 20, him and his brother, they wrote 25 songs. We made one. And they never complained about the 24 that they wrote, never asked about the 24 they worked, we don't even have a copy of them because we never watch our work. When you're in the Army, when you're a sniper and they train you to kill, they train you to shoot the bullet and never watch the target fall. So that's our thing. Like, I don't have plaques on my walls. I don't want my plaques yet. We've probably been a part of like 60 million albums sold. We done probably been on, like, we have albums almost every month coming out that we're on. And I don't want no plaque, because that's not what I'm here for.
Now, also, what are some of the main obstacles that you face on your rise, and you're still hungry and still going after it and getting it, but how were you able to overcome some of the obstacles?
The main obstacle I faced was dealing with people, like I said earlier, that feel like because they're talented, they deserve it. So, for me, it was always like, I've worked with so many people along the line that were better than me, that were God-given great. And because of that, they felt like they didn't have to do certain things. And, you know, even now with Teron, and Teron is one of the top songwriters in the business. This is not my opinion. This is a fact at this point.
That's right.
And he's sought after from everybody, from Usher to Beyonce to anybody. Even songwriters who've written hits for themselves want to get in the room with him at this point. And Teron still walks around here like he's an intern hoping to not lose.
To land a hit.
Exactly, and that's what makes him great. It's not his talent makes him great, but what makes him superior is his work ethic. And I've seen a lot of people that were good, and you know, like people think people hating on them because they tell you something about yourself. I don't think that. Like everybody, there's even positivity in hate.
Yeah.
Because they say, you know, you can walk, if you walk on water, people are going to say, oh, because you can't swim.
Can't swim.
Okay, so I'm going to walk on water, then I'm going to swim, then I'm going to get above water and walk again. Now what you going to say?
Yeah.
So for me, that's the obstacle. I've dealt with so many people that were great, but didn't do the things that it took to be superior because they felt, because they were already good at what they did, they didn't have to.
Okay. Now, what do you think about the state of the industry now? You got a lot of independent artists that are trying to shy away from the labels now. What do you think about that?
I love it. I mean, this is something new I just made up, and I just came up with this on my way over here. I just want everybody to know, don't ever be a victim. Don't ever be a victim. Don't be a victim of the system. Don't be a victim of your circumstances. Don't be a victim of a person. Don't ever be nobody's victim. So if you don't like the way the music industry is, take it into your own hands. Don't complain. Listen, you will never hear me complain. You will never hear Teron complain. You will never, like, you don't understand, I'm telling you. I can call Teron 4 in the morning. He will never say, man, why I gotta do, I've never heard him say that. I'm on my way. So don't be a victim. Don't complain. Don't feel like you like you said, it's entitlement. Don't feel entitled. So, you know, when you're an independent artist, people don't believe in you, make them. I always say to people, look, man, I don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. Because if that person knew it all, they would be the richest person in the world.
Exactly.
So nobody knows it all. So with that being said, I might be wrong. You might be wrong. Teron, we all might be wrong. That's just a fact of life. Nobody knows it all. But it's your job to make them see. Because I always thought I was great. I always thought he was amazing. Even looking back at the songs he used to write back then compared to the songs right now, I thought those songs back then were hits. I was yelling at people, this is a hit, this is a hit. And then now I'm looking like, man, that really wasn't a hit. But that's my point. I just, I live by that, man. Like, just,
Now, how do you like being on the business side of the industry versus the performance side of it? Also, what is your advice to young people that want to get in on the business side that, just like you say, I can't rap, I can't dance, I can't sing, but I do want to be a part of the industry?
Then, like I just said earlier, if you want to be in the industry and you can't rap, you can't sing, you got to be able to do everything else. Simple. I mean, you never know where God's gonna take you. You never know the path God's gonna lead you to. So with that being said, learn everything. I didn't plan on being a manager. I didn't care to be a manager. I didn't plan on being an A&R. I had no idea what I was gonna be. Every opportunity that came my way came because I just knew a lot because I studied it. So, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be in the music industry, is one thing you got to do. Jump out the window. Either you're going to crash or you're going to fly. And if you fly, then you know you was meant to be here. But if you crash, then you learn the lesson and you know that this ain't for you and go try something else. But it's a lot of people that sit in their room and dream, like, I'm going to be famous one day. I don't do that. Like, if you believe, I always say, if you believe you can fly, jump off the building. I did. I was working at Delta Airlines. Tehran was working at Party City. Tehran called me one day. He said, man, you know what Tehran said? I can share the story real quick. Yeah. Tehran said, Ray, I can't see my daughter. He said, I'm working a job trying to make money to pay to see my daughter, and I still can't see my daughter. So if that's the case, I'd rather be chasing my dream and not be able to see my daughter than be here working every day and still not see her. So I was like, quit. And when I quit, I quit Delta because my father died, and I was thinking to myself, if Bill Cosby was my father, like if Bill Cosby was my father, you would expect me to be great. Yeah. If Michael Jordan was my father, you would expect me to be great. But that's because my father was somebody who wasn't great to the world, me being average was okay. So I just never let myself be average. I just was like, look, I'm going to treat my life like I'm Bill Cosby's son. I'm going to be great.
Now, question, what's next for Radar?
Big stuff, man. You know what's so crazy? I don't even we don't really do interviews. I don't like telling people what we're doing because I feel like everybody's doing that. Watch what I'm about to do. I got this going on. I got that going on. Watch what I'm about to do. And I'm like, man, if you're going to do it, then do it. One of the laws of power is you never win people over with words. You always win them over with action. Yep. So why talk about what you're doing? But what I will tell you is that what I'm trying to do is be one of the greatest to ever live. I'm trying to be one of the, and that's why I said took the management off. Like, I always say this, like, I want to be to the world what Martin Luther King was to the world. We want to be that. Like, this is, like, if you notice, I'm not even talking about music. I haven't said one thing about music, one thing about technicalities or how to do music. I've never said that. I literally it's all about life. People ask you, what's the best book to read to be in the music business? It's not everything you need to know about the music business. It's the 4-day laws of power. Because the music business is irrelevant. It's just, only thing that's relevant is the actual fact that it's music. Like, outside of that, it's business. It's politics. I deal with the same stuff Obama deals with. And I'm not comparing myself to the president. I'm just saying, he deal with BS. I deal with BS. You deal with BS. Yep. Everybody does. It's politics everywhere you go. So for me, the music is irrelevant. Take it with a smile on your face. Obama can't go in there and say, hey, look, man, I'm the first black president, man. I'm tired. My hair's gray. Because they going to say he's weak. So why complain? Exactly. Go out there with a smile on your face and say, we're going to get it together. And that's what we do. Another artist that you work with is Bando Jones. Yes. I mean, share a little bit of his story with me. Bando is the definition of not dying persistence. I mean, I'll let the people figure out who he is sooner or later, but he was this kid who walked up to Polo to Don, shout out to Polo, and he literally walked up to Polo and at a gas station looking like nothing and sung to him. And Polo said, you're amazing. Come to the studio tonight. Took him to the studio. Bando plays the piano. Then Bando starts dancing. And then, they named him Bando because then Polo dropped him off at home. And it was so crazy because when I met Bando, I never stopped seeing him at the studio. I would see him sleeping on the couch. I would see him everywhere because we all at the same studio. And then I would look and be like, but this kid looks like he's been through hell. Yeah. But he'll come and hug everybody. He'll be like, hey, what's up, man? Man, I'm so happy to see you, man. And he was like, yo, you look like you done been through everything under the sun and you still here smiling. Right. And he was like, because I know the Lord got me. Well, I could either be bad or I could be good. And he decided to be good. So with Bando, I think that's what it was. Bando was this kid and who was amazingly talented, and he sung, and then I played the record for LA, and LA said, fly him up here. And this kid walked in the room, and I remember I told him, I said, look, man, be you. And he walked in the room and he took his shirt off, took his hat off. He hugged everybody, males and females, everybody in the room. And then he got on the piano and started playing, started singing, started dancing. LA played the record 3 or 4 times. He started dancing again. LA played the record. He just wants it. I can definitely dig it. Well, Ray, appreciate you coming through this thing, sir, man. Thank you. Wish you nothing but the best and much success. Your boy BHighATL, Hot 107.9, man. Let's go.